Today, we're stepping into the world of espionage, and not just any spy. We're talking about James Bond. Big news has just dropped. The legendary James Bond franchise, which has been tightly controlled by the Broccoli family for decades, is now under new management. That's right, Amazon has officially taken creative control of 007. This marks the biggest shakeup in the franchise's history, and it raises some serious questions. What does this mean for the future of Bond? Will we finally get a new 007, or are we heading into uncharted territory? For new joiners, I'm Joe, an ex-police officer and founder of CaseDoc.io, where I create immersive murder case file investigations. On YouTube, I post 4 to 5 times a week, so do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and switch on notifications so you don't miss a video. Without further ado, let's break the story down. For over 60 years, the Broccoli family has been the gatekeepers of James Bond. It all started with Albert Cubby Broccoli, who launched the first Bond film, Dr. No, back in 1962. His daughter, Barbara Broccoli, and stepson, Michael G. Wilson, later took the reins, shaping Bond's modern era with hits like GoldenEye, Casino Royale, and Skyfall. They didn't just oversee the films, they had full creative control, deciding who played Bond, how the stories unfolded, and ultimately what direction the franchise took. Even when Amazon bought MGM, Bond's parent studio, in 2022, Barbara and Michael kept a tight grip on the franchise. But now everything is changing. Michael Wilson, at 83 years old, is stepping away from producing, and Barbara Broccoli has announced she's shifting focus to other projects. That means for the first time in history, Amazon now has the power to shape the future of James Bond. So what does this mean for the next film? The big question on everyone's mind: who will be the next James Bond? It's been 4 years since No Time to Die, and we still don't have a new 007. Bookmakers have been throwing around names like James Norton, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Theo James, but Amazon hasn't given a timeline for when a new Bond will be announced. With the Broccoli family stepping back, could Amazon fast-track the casting process, or will they take the franchise in a completely new direction? And speaking of new directions, this shift raises another possibility: Bond spin-offs. Amazon is no stranger to expanding franchises. Look at what Disney did with Star Wars, turning a classic film series into an entire universe of TV shows, prequels, and character-focused spin-offs. Could we really see something similar for Bond? Maybe a young M origin story, a gritty MI6 series, or even a villain-focused project? Amazon already experimented with a Bond-themed reality show, 007 Road to a Million, but let's be honest, it flopped. Will they learn from that, or are we looking at an era where Bond is stretched into an endless content machine? Now here's where it gets really interesting. This transition hasn't exactly been smooth. Reports suggest that the relationship between Amazon and the Broccoli family has been tense. In fact, the Wall Street Journal even reported that Barbara Broccoli privately called Amazon executives idiots. That's a bold statement, and it tells us one thing: this handover probably wasn't entirely voluntary. It makes you wonder, was this a natural passing of the torch, or did Amazon's financial power simply make it impossible for the Broccoli family to keep control? So what does this all mean for us, the fans? First, a new Bond is coming, but there's no telling when. With no timeline in place, we could be looking at a record-breaking gap between films. Second, the franchise could expand beyond just movies. With Amazon at the helm, spin-offs, streaming series, and even new Bond-themed games could be on the horizon. And finally, the biggest concern: will Amazon stay true to what made Bond iconic? Will the franchise lose its identity in an effort to appeal to modern trends? This is the most significant shakeup in James Bond history, and it could go in so many different directions. Will Amazon respect Bond's legacy, or will 007 become just another corporate product? That's the big question. What do you think? Is this a fresh start for the franchise, or the beginning of its downfall? Let me know in the comments below, and if you love deep dives into crime, investigations, and entertainment shakeups like this, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.